Well, I guess fans are going to be happy because we have our first look at Spider-Man Noir on set in what appears to be a comic-accurate costume. Let's take a couple minutes to check out this new costume, break down how close it is to the comic version, and whether this costume should inspire more faith or more worry from this Sony-based Amazon series. Keep your chins up because this looks like it's some good news. Now, one of the most interesting things Sony has endeavored to do in recent years is try to create some Spider-Man spin-off shows over on Amazon. Now, their first attempt pretty much fell flat because it didn't get off the ground, and that was a Cindy Moon Silk series that has currently been cancelled. Now, before that series was cancelled though, we found out that Nicolas Cage was going to return to the character of Spider-Man Noir and head up a live-action version of the character for the Amazon streaming platform. Now, given some of the recent developments by Sony, there has been more than a little bit of concern from fans about Sony heading this project and where it might actually go. We already found out that Peter Parker was going to be replaced by the Ben Reilly version of Spider-Man. And the first couple of pictures we saw on set saw Nicolas Cage in a detective outfit, but he was not in that Spider-Man costume, and this led to people being a bit worried. But I got some good news for you guys because you don't need to worry anymore. Earlier today, the team over at TMZ posted a very first look at the new Spider-Man Noir costume, and I have to say, it looks like it jumped right off the page. Let's check it out. Now, honestly guys, this is pretty great, and it is basically identical to what we saw in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The mask itself looks near perfect, and they've nailed the trench coat and eyes. I also like the texture of the whole thing. It definitely has a classic leather look, and if you look carefully in one of those pictures, you will notice Spider-Man Noir's revolver hanging out of one of the pockets. Something that I was wondering if they were going to have part of this series, and it looks like they've done it justice. Now, these pictures came via TMZ, and I've linked their article down below because they also included a video from on set, and it looks like this is definitely going to be an action-oriented series, so the worries this was going to be just a noir detective show and leave fans disappointed seems to have been officially squashed. Now, all in all, the pictures of the costume, though, I gotta say, guys, I absolutely love it. This is directly torn right from the pages of the comics. It looks exactly as it should be, and it's often a first indicator of whether a studio is taking this seriously or just throwing it against the wall and see what sticks. And pictures like these make me feel like Sony is taking it seriously. Now, very few other details about Spider-Man Noir have been revealed. Nicolas Cage did confirm it was going to be an 8-episode run and pit the wall-crawling private investigator against various monsters, which suggests to me some of Spider-Man's villains will definitely be enhanced in a way that is somewhat familiar to the comic. A curious thing on the whole monsters aspect of it is that's what Nicolas Cage required. He actually said in recent interviews he doesn't like to hurt people. And I have to wonder if the focus on monsters as a villain is kind of derived from what Cage wanted here. If Cage didn't want to beat up people, to get him in the role, they probably had to make some concessions, and I'm having to wonder, positive or negative, how that will drive the story. Now, we're unsure who the head villain is. Some people believe it will actually be Bryan Cranston as Silvermane, but that is yet to be confirmed, and I feel like if we're getting a series of monsters, the probability of Norman Osborn with the reimagined versions of Spider-Man's villains kind of serving as his crew is much more likely, but either one sounds great to me, and as long as Nicolas Cage's version of Ben Reilly pretty much nails it, I think the villain itself isn't as important as the lead character. You don't want the villain to steal the show, and Cage needs to be front and center. That's where the magic will happen here, and the fact that it looks like that's exactly what they're doing, well, it makes me pretty happy. Obviously, we're following Spider-Man Noir pretty closely. It currently doesn't have a release date, and Amazon is notorious for stretching this stuff out. I don't think we're going to see it until the end of 2025, but who knows? We could get lucky and the show could land next summer. We all got to lean on Amazon to give us that release date, and hopefully we have some concrete details very soon. Now, before you take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, ring that bell for all the updates, and make sure you get every notification because we do daily Marvel and DC content and we don't want you to miss any news.